You know, recently I got myself some well-deserved summer vacation. Finally, a break from the ever-growing agony of life. I can't wait to... recently summer started. I was having an absolute blast playing some of the greatest video games ever made, such as League of Legends. This was a great way to avoid the responsibilities of real life and the fact that the likelihood of my demise approaches by the second. This is commonly known as a good way to distract yourself from the world, and it definitely doesn't ruin your real and social life in the process. Life was perfect. The Discord chat never broke down into chaos over the events of the game. Every match was fun and unique. We played for days upon days, stacking up every possible victory royale for days on end. There I was, getting dubski after dubski, until one fateful day, when a small part of my keyboard, which includes some pretty critical keys to playing these video games, decided that it was time to commit suicide. And boom, here I am, writing this script, seeking to find what is hidden deep within the boulevard of broken keys. Ever since the incident, I've been feeling pretty emo. Being unable to play video games for 10 hours a day has set me into a harsh state of grief and withdrawal. And while, yes, there is a character in League that doesn't exactly need to use a keyboard, I've decided to go on a journey to take on every downside I have in search of becoming human perfection. Peak male performance, as some may say, the Giga Chat of Giga Chats. This video shall be a documentary about the effects of withdrawal on my puny gamer brain. Day 1. The copy pasta incident. I felt painfully lonely over the inability to make contact with possible mates over the internet by calling them every slur on the dictionary. Now, also unable to look at my favorite video game characters in-game, I found myself troubled with the overwhelming weight of reality. I've resorted to staying in my room, dreaming about my favorite characters coming to life and holding my lonely self in their arms, thinking of and writing down imaginary scenarios just to keep a small glimpse of those imaginary women in my life. I've been doing this, hoping that someday my beloved 2D drawings will notice my efforts and take me into their world. Wait, that's not right. A real Sigma Chad is independent from others. I do not need such thing as contact, be it real or imaginary. Wake up, you disgusting, greasy incel. Women are not the way to victory, but I know what is. The stock market, baby. Day 2. The stock market incident. Upon betting my life savings on stocks, instead of buying a new keyboard, I'm sure nothing could possibly go wrong. The stock market is clearly just an easy way to exploit capitalism and get rich. That's how all those so-called self-made billionaires do it, right? Wait, my stocks? What? Come on. What do you mean? Wait, GameStop did what? Well, I've lost part of my fortune, but luckily, I've got better guidance for the remainder of my money. This time, my investments are educated by none other than my favorite subreddit, r/Wall Street Bets. So, anyways, I lost everything to some guy with a goldfish. Day 3. The turning point. Upon falling asleep at 7 a.m. after an entire night spent crying over imaginary women and imaginary currencies, I decided that it's time to change. Over the following days, I will actually put some effort into becoming myself instead of just being me, for the sake of the non-imaginary people who surround me, and for the sake of my own well-being. Day 5. I've expanded my horizons. I booted up Netflix to watch my favorite series, ARCANE, featuring my favorite imaginary women, such as Jinx from ARCANE, Vi from ARCANE, Caitlyn from ARCANE, and also that Yordle from ARCANE. However, I was quickly reminded that my A key is broken when I attempted to write ARCANE in the search bar to no success. So, I watched the second best thing for mentally unstable art students, Inside. I figured this was a great option. As you can tell, the word inside does, in fact, not include an A. Since the moment I witnessed Bo's wonderful, sane face as he laughed maniacally while criticizing today's society, I thought to myself, wait a minute, I made a whole video about music, but listened to nothing but KDA featuring all the epic characters from the ARCANE game. And so, while Jeffrey Bezos could not afford to donate a keyboard to an innocent student in need, or to any charity, listening to more music was my next target. Day 6. I've started listening to some very underground indie artists that make me look very unique. I sure am a great fan of unknown bands such as Queen, Imagine Dragons from ARCANE, and a 40-year-old Britney Spears. And also, just like the Batman, I'm a great fan of that Cobain guy, but I have yet to list 5 of their songs. Day 8. I've stolen my sister's digital camera and have become a self-proclaimed professional photographer, becoming extremely active on my Instagram account, which definitely isn't strictly used to look at photos of kittens and the occasional attractive person passing by my explore feed. In fact, I took an extremely unique and never seen before photo of the moon, recording the first time I've seen the outside world in over 30 days. I've also started working on building my Giga Chad body, not by going to the gym because that requires going outside, but instead by waking up at 4 AM and doing a couple sit-ups. Day 10. Instead of using my copy-pasta creativity to take away the rights of imaginary video game characters or to write down an entire rework for Aurelian Soul and Skarner, I've started writing real things. In fact, I created this cool little blog called The Echo Chamber, and have desperately attempted to promote it on all my social media, but, fittingly for the name, it is never visited by anyone. This could be because my rhymes are weak and my arms are heavy, mom's spaghetti, or because every form of social media I have is followed by bot and spam accounts. Day 11. I've used my newfound writing skills to create a parody of a song that reflects my currently emo state of mind in order to fit one of my League waifus. I've also created another parody for Apex Legends, a game I thankfully have not been able to play in months due to my rather subpar, low-tier laptop. I think these new works of art are a great way to avoid thinking about meeting the same fate as some of my keys. That is, death. Day 12. I've started writing the script for a cool little video. There is, however, a small issue. Given that an important vowel, A, is broken, I've copied it with the still working mouse buttons and am now using copy-paste to write it every single time this letter is required on the script. My god, I am mentally ill. I've also grabbed that guitar from the last video and have decided to, unlike 99% of guitar owners, actually play it. As for my voice, there is no fix to these cursed vocal cords, and even though my parents told me I was a good singer in first grade, I am no longer in first grade, and my parents don't compliment me anymore, which likely means that my voice is now harder to tune than a guitar with piano strings, or as I have learned from my escapades, the G string on any guitar. Day 13. I tried watching a bunch of cool movies and series that should have already been watched. However, my 7-second attention span means I'm just as capable of watching movies as I am capable of playing Valorant, a game I quit playing as soon as it released due to its poor overall quality as a video game, and if you unironically enjoy playing Valorant, chances are you also unironically enjoy beating women for sport. I may not be able to play all the great games that require the corner of my keyboard that is affected by laptop syndrome, but I can still play other insanely difficult games with a high actions per minute and brain usage requirement. Since my gaming abilities were rudely interrupted, I've spent some spare time playing games that don't actually require a working keyboard, getting some huge high scores on Tetris, Pac-Man, Minesweeper, the Chrome Dinosaur game, and most importantly, Teamfight Tactics. I've spent these few days complaining about not hitting and getting more dogged every game as a form of cope. Day 14. The script for this exact, extremely meta joke of a video is almost done writing. While I may have not gone to the gym or touched grass or any real people and have failed to meet any real women during this painful extensive gap in time, my self-improvement journey is far from over. I will continue to better myself and will soon be known throughout the entire world as an epic gamer and a self-proclaimed Giga Chad. Even though I am still a thin, 5'6" man who can barely do push-ups and lack basic communication skills, my journey will soon be over, and I am positive I won't be bullied by anyone who knows me in real life or disowned by my parents. I'll be rich and grow as a content creator, comedian, artist, writer, self-proclaimed professional photographer, ladies' man, cat photo enjoyer, and gamer. Day 15. I've achieved my final form. I have created greatness. Fear not, mortals. My mission is complete, and I have officially become the true version of myself. Equally lonely, short, frail, emotional, and weak, but mentally capable of doing something greater than myself, which doesn't take much to do, as I'm not exactly considered great. Anyways, here comes the sad, rotten, mutated fruit of my insanity. So as a wise man once said, I can't really, play the guitar very well, or sing, so, apologies. Well, my keyboard just broke the only keys that I have ever known. Way caps in control, they're all gone to me cause they all just broke. See an empty script that I may never get to complete, cause I lost my keys, tab and number 1, I know they're all gone. Script's incomplete, it's all incomplete. It's all incomplete, I lost them. My laptop's worthless trash, but still the only. My gamer heart's the only thing remaining. Sometimes I wish I had the bucks to replace them. Till then, my keys are done. I'm writing this for you, but my queue's divided into two. I play too much League, that's why Numlock's there instead of Q. There's too many lines to the song I've written for myself. Should have seen the signs, I'll ditch the bridge and go look for some help. I need some help, I need some keys, I want them. My laptop's worthless trash, but still the only. My gamer heart's the only thing remaining. Sometimes I wish I had the bucks to replace them. Till then, my keys are done. Well, I'm not doing that again. God, my throat.